Hey everyone, this is Builder, and this is a video of my game with me, Bloodfeign, and Buffdady and Serone. And this is a CTON game, meaning it's a free-for-all game with where you're not allowed to do diplomacy. You're always at war, and you're not supposed to collaborate with other people in the team. And it's to make it more fair, so that people don't work together to kind of beat better players. Because they could ruin the ranking system that way in CTONs, and then no good ranked player would ever play CTONs. And it would just be annoying. Or free-for-alls. Anyway, I have Germany with a pretty good start. I have a bunch of hills nearby. I settle on a hill, and I have a hill. Plus I have a deer nearby, which will get a +1 food when I build the granary. It'll become a nice 3 food, 1 hammer tile, which is very good. So me and Silent are arguing right now over whether I should go straight for civil service, and I want to, but he kind of persuades me not to. Now that I think about it a bit more, I don't know. I think going to civil service wouldn't have been the end of it. I think going to civil service would have actually been a decent idea. Especially since I'm going grade library. So if you see all right there, what I did is I locked down the growth tiles and then set it to production focus, so the city grew onto the hill, and the hill gave me the extra hammers I needed to finish the monument that turn. So it's giving me a little bit extra culture. Maybe I'll get the free unit a little bit sooner. I'll get my scout out. I also want to get a granary, and so that'll run into me researching writing a little bit. But that's alright, because I won't really want to have another unit out in the world. To protect both the free worker I get and to protect the free worker I get and stuff. I'm going to build a granary. It rides a little bit into writing, so I won't be able to start the Great Library right when I start writing. But that's okay, because the granary will give me a lot more hammers than I'm missing by building it. So it's certainly going to help me. And this video, I'm sorry you guys, it's been a while since I've uploaded a video. I've had some other stuff going on. I have a couple videos that I've kind of had in my folders for a while. I'll see if I'll be able to get them out and get the commentary going for you guys. Because I just haven't been making time to commentate them. So my opponent's civs are France, Ottomans, and Iroquois. The strongest of those is probably France. France gets the +2 culture per turn in all cities. And it's very strong because it allows them to get early social policies much more quickly, and it allows them to finish liberty quickly, letting them get a free great person before everyone else does, which means that they'll probably be able to get Hagia Sophia or a fast medieval rush going. With Iroquois, they get the Ironless Mohawk, and they also get the Longhouse and faster movement in forest. So essentially all their bonuses are forest related. But except for the iron, I guess, isn't really that related. The other thing is their bonuses isn't that great. It's alright on a map where there isn't very much iron, which you can sometimes have in a CTON kind of map. But the thing is, on this map we put it on standard resource settings. So everybody gets a 6 iron right away, so it isn't that much of an advantage to have the Ironless Swordsman, because everybody already has 6. I mean, if you went really quickly to iron, you might be able to catch somebody off guard, but yeah, you know, it's alright. You can see I did a Iroquois Mohawk rush in an earlier game, and that probably wouldn't have happened if the other player was a little bit more prepared. But you know. So as for my workers, I'm kind of managing my workers for the Great Library. I'm thinking about what I want to do. I want to grow up to 4 population quickly, and then I will be able to work a lot more good tiles. The granary is letting me grow a lot more quickly. It's giving me the +2 food in addition, and then +1 food from the deer tile, which I'm working. I'll be able to grow up to 4 pop, work a bunch of hills and hammer tiles, and pop out the Great Library quickly. Also, if you look there, you can see that I'm the only person with any literacy, which means I am the only person who has research writing. So I won't have any immediate competition for the Great Library. You can see the average is 1 right now, so that means that no one else has gotten it because I'm at 5, so then you take the average. It's math stuff. As for going civil service versus right away versus going to ironworking, I don't know. I think I could go to civil service right away. I might not have start spam building what are they called, land snacks right at that point if that had happened, but might not have started spamming land snacks right as I got civil service, but that's okay. I mean, I certainly have the tech to do it from the Great Library. I could use the free tech from the Great Library on it. All I'd need would be to get trapping and philosophy, and I probably could have gotten that before I got the Great Library in. And then I could have just picked up the luxury techs, expanded, built land snacks as necessary to defend myself. And then once I got all my production up in most of my cities, I'd start spamming land snacks from those specific cities and start overwhelming people. As opposed to kind of going to iron and then getting luxury techs, it kind of slows me down a bit. If I don't go to iron, I won't be able to build the barracks from bronze working or chop jungle, but there's no jungle nearby, and I don't really like building barracks too much, because it doesn't feel like that much of an upgrade for land snacks, because there's just so many of them, and I like the insta-heal when you're attacking people. If you have overwhelming force, I like insta-heals because it allows you to keep on pushing forwards. If you're kind of in a set conflict where, you know, you're kind of fortifying, you're kind of waiting for the other guy to do stuff, I feel like the promotion gives you more help, but if you're pushing forward, the extra experience isn't that helpful. I could be working more hammers at this point, and also I could be chopping forest with my worker if I wanted to finish the Great Library as quickly as possible. But I know I have no competition, so I will not. Also, I'm going to start researching calendar, because I'm going to finish the Great Library in 2 turns. I will be able to select ironworking as my free technology from it, and then I will start building some settlers, maybe. My start spot is certainly very nice. I have a lot of hills nearby, a nice river passing by. I'll be able to build a lot of settlements on rivers. The spot where I'm going to found my city will have access to 2 luxuries, which is very good. The gems and the marble both will give me +4 happiness, just like all the other luxuries. I'm just trying to get my capital to grow to 5, and then I make a little bit of a mistake here. I take my free ironworking tech, and then I found my city, and if I wouldn't have found my city, my capital would have grown to 6 population. But since I found the city, my capital grows very slowly, and I don't think it quite makes it to 5 population. I'm just kind of fooling around with my workers, seeing what I can manage. And now I'm probably not going to make it to 5 population very soon at all, until I improve a happiness luxury, which will take a while in my first city because the luxuries aren't within its first square, and that's one of the reasons why I'm building the monument first, so I can get that cultural expansion going very quickly. Just popping around with my scout. I've kind of explored that corner of the map. I won't have to worry about anybody coming from that direction unless the Iroquois are kind of sneaking around back that way. and there's no rivers over there, so it's unlikely I'll build very many cities over there at all, because just the gold you get from rivers is so strong, and not so to the point where building a city on not on a river isn't really great. I mean, you can build like one or two maybe, but if you build much more than that many cities on rivers, your gold income will just plummet, and you won't be able to build anything because your tech rate will like go to 0 because you'll be losing so much gold. At least if you build a lot of army then, which you kind of have to sometimes. So I mean, building on rivers, it gives you the civil service food bonus, which I'll be going to quickly anyway, and it's really a strong thing. And the gold is just nice, and the watermill is nice, and you just want to be on rivers as much as possible. So I'm going to pick up some kind of manufacturing. Oh, no. I'm going to get trapping so I can get a camp on my deer, make the deer tile even better. I'll also be able to build the circus, which will give me +2 happiness. Sometimes it's nice to get one of those in your capital just for a little bit more happiness. Again, see, my capital could have gotten to 5 population all this time. Get me a lot more hammers and gold and stuff. And I'm thinking about what I can build. I currently have 2 cities, about to get 3, and I only have 1 worker, so I'm going to pump out another one. Just checking how many social policies they have. So you can see France is in the lead as usual with 3 social policies, and I'm tied with everyone else with 2 social policies. And I have a couple of swordsmen kind of roaming around. Normally I would like to build more military, but I mean, normally I would build more military, but since my neighbors aren't building that much military, I don't need to have much military. So I was waiting for my city to acquire that tile there, the luxury tile. And so right when it improved, I moved my worker out. I didn't even finish the farm because it's more important for me to get the extra happiness from that tile. And so I've now seen the Iroqouis capital city. I like being able to see their capital city, at least where it is exactly, like the city tile. Lets me see, what population they're at, which kind of gives you a sense of what they're doing, if they're building lots of settlers, if they're growing lots, if they, that type of stuff. Also, when you reveal the capital, I think it tells you when they're building a wonder. If they build a wonder in their capital, it'll say, instead of saying, the wonder has been built in a faraway land, now it says the Iroquois have completed the, fill in the blank. So that's nice to see. So I'm thinking about what type of city spots I can put my next city on. And so I want to claim all the unique luxuries around me, and there's a cotton resource up above me nearby the Iroquois. And again, it's not on a river, but you can always get like, about 1 city off the river is about what I like to get. Of course, I'd like to have none, but generally I'll have 1 that's off just because it's in a critical spot, or it's claiming a unique luxury, or something like that. And so now my capital will finally be able to grow to 5 population, and stuff. That'll be nice. I should be I should have chosen production focus in Hamburg right now, because it's trying to grow right now, and once I found that new city, it'll go back into unhappiness. So yeah, I did it a little bit too late, and the Iroquois tried to attack me, but it's not that bad. I was in a forest, and the you know, these Iroquois don't get a combat bonus in forest except for their mohawks, and I get a defensive bonus in the forest, so it's not a big deal that he attacked me. Also, as you can see there, I switched off from the settler so I could grow to 5 population for that, you know, for the one turn right now. The turn before I was happy. And so now I found another city, now I'm unhappy again. And I think I make a little bit of a mistake there. Instead of building a granary, I built a watermill. And generally I like building the watermill if there's no happiness resources nearby, because it gives you 1 extra hammer, so it's helping you when you're not growing. And yeah. But around that city, there's a couple of wheat resources which the granary improves. So it probably would have been a better idea to build the granary right away instead of building the watermill. So again, I'm behind on workers, so I'm going to try to build some extra workers to make up for that. I'm probably going to found my next city on the cotton, so I can just get that, so I can get the gold bonus in the city tile, meaning that when you found on a luxury, you're getting the extra gold from that luxury, and you won't be able to improve it for +1 gold from the plantation, but I'll be getting it from the city tile, meaning whatever tile I work, I'm still getting that gold, because you get this city tile work for free. And I'll send a worker up there to help improve some of the tiles around. Once I get my gems up, I will be into plus happiness, and then I will found my next city on the cotton, so it will not affect my happiness, because a new city gives you 4 unhappiness, and a luxury gives you 4 happiness, so it's, you know, like a canceling out thing. I'm just fooling around with my workers, seeing what I can work for stuff. I have a little bit of extra happiness. I have 2, which will let me grow 3 times before I go unhappy. I'll grow twice, and I'll be at 0, and I'll grow once more. And I went unhappy for a moment here because the game doesn't count it doesn't count the luxury crate that you found on right away. It'll count it next turn. So once it counts the cotton that I found it on, I'll be back up to 2 happiness. And then once all of my I'll have 3 growth, so I'll build my watermill in my capital, then I'll probably get in a circus to get the happiness back up, so I can get a couple more growths in before I finish civil service and start spamming some land snacks to take people over. I'm doing pretty well in manufactured goods, most of the demographics right now, because I haven't been building much army and my land is very good. You know, lots of hills, a nice river nearby, and such. I'm 3rd in soldiers, which is a little bit worrisome, but I don't know. I could build some more army. I think I can see that the Iroquois and the Ottomans are fighting. They have 2 cities that are like 5 tiles apart or something. And I think that the Iroquois city is damaged. We might see that a little bit later. Again, I put these videos at 2 times speed, so they're going... When I'm playing half as quickly as this. Oh, and the Ottoman pops above me in manufactured goods for a turn. But once my stuff grows and such, I will be able to get back that. So now I'm debating what tiles I want to work in my city. I'll get a nice farmed tile in my gems, so I'll be able to get lots of gold from the gems, and I will get food from the farm, so I'll still be growing. And the only reason why I'm growing at that point so well is because of the granary that I built there. If it weren't for the granary, I'd only be getting 1 excess food per turn, and I'd be growing in like, 15 turns or something. But because I built the granary, it's a lot faster. So the granary, really what it helps you do more is work hammers while still growing, or work more hammers while not growing. That's the biggest benefit, in my opinion, that it gives. Because if you're at like 10 excess food, the difference between 10 excess food and like 12 excess food isn't that much. But the difference between like 0 excess food and 2 excess food, or -2 food and 0 food, is a much larger difference. So if you want to work lots of hill tiles, well, in a city, then the granary is a very nice thing to get, and the watermill is as well. But if you're in like completely open terrain, with a bunch of grassland nearby, a bunch of growth stuff like cows and stuff, then the granary isn't necessarily a good thing to build. I mean, you probably are still going to get it eventually, but since you won't have many hammers in that city, actually that's not a very well placed city actually if the city doesn't have any hammers to work, because then it'll take a long time to develop and such and build stuff in, so you're not getting much of a benefit from it. The main reason I build cities is to get more hammers. If I want to get more tech, I should be focusing more on National College. And yeah, you can see Osinka is damaged right now. It's down to half of its hit points. It's in the yellow. So maybe the Ottomans will be able to push on Iroqouis. And so right there, again, with my work, I'm waiting for my city to gain or acquire that new tile. And once it does, I will stop my worker from getting rid of the marsh, and I will build a pasture on those horses, so I'll be able to get some good hammers from that city. With Cologne, I'd like to have more hammers nearby, but that was the only cotton I saw nearby me, so I'm going to settle that cotton pretty much no matter what, unless there's another source. You want to get every unique luxury, unless it's like right next to somebody else. You don't want to make them angry. I'm thinking about stealing the Ottoman worker, so I'll pop over nearby him. But then I see that there's another worker which can see me. That worker has 2 sight. The sight from a cultural border is only 1, so he can see me where he normally wouldn't be able. Where if the worker wasn't there, he wouldn't have been able to see me, and I would have been able to snag that. I guess I did snag the worker, so it didn't really matter. But he saw me because he had a worker there, and if he hadn't had a worker there, he wouldn't have even seen me before I snagged his worker. That's an important thing to know about when you're trying to steal units with a scout, is to know when they can see you and when they can't, and how to work a double move in to be able to take the worker. And with my scout, I'm not quite sure what to do at this point, because there's a warrior coming in and the city will be able to attack me, so I want to keep myself safe. But I'm not sure if I'll be able to move the worker before the enemy attacks me. And so I fortify my scout, and I get lucky. I just barely survive. And so with 1 hit point, he probably could have killed me if he had gotten lucky. Also, you might have noticed I switched into strategic view for that turn so I could get a little bit faster. That's something I think I could do a little bit more often, but I kind of forget to do it, and I could, if I really wanted to. And now I have civil service, so I would be able to build many Landsknecks and overwhelm people and stuff, Cool stuff. Also with civil service, I'm getting the +1 food from farms next to rivers, and which is a very big bonus. It's one of the bonuses you kind of have to not use when you're going on the warpath, because, you know, you're going up the other side of the tech tree, but it is a very strong bonus. Because think about all the farms I can have next to a river. I can have at least 3 in every city. That's like a free granary in every city without even, like, you're not even... It's not even like you have to do anything to get it, because the farms are generally already there. That's a lot of food to be getting. Another reason why rivers are very strong. Now I'm thinking about moving to that tile, but that tile might have had a city within 2 tiles of it, which would have bombarded my scout and killed it off. Because, again, the minimum damage in this game is 1, so since my scout had 1 health point, it would automatically have died. So now that I have civil service, I've built all the production buildings in all of my cities, except for the stoneworks in Berlin. I will start spamming out Landschnell. I always forget how to pronounce it, but my pikeman unit. And I will attack the Iroquois and see if I can kill them off. So now I will get some construction, which will allow me to build coliseums and get my happiness up a little bit. I'm at 0 right now, which it'll go down to -1 next turn when my city on the far right grows, Hamburg grows. And so now I'm just spamming Landschnecks, whatever the unit is, out of all of my cities. And so my army is getting a lot bigger. And you can see already I have like 5 out, and it's only been a couple of turns. And in demographics I'm doing very well. Oh, and the Iroquois city is only at like 2 or so hit points. And so if I can sneak in there while it's still at low hit points and attack it, maybe I'll be able to take it. Or maybe the Ottomans will take it. Who knows? Let's see who's gonna take the Iroquois city. So, just worker management wise, lakes also give the civil service bonus, so you want to get food farms next to rivers and lakes, although farms next to rivers get priority over lakes because the tile is just a better tile. And so if you could either have your city working a lake farm tile or a river farm tile, you should be working, you want to have the have it work the river farm tile, just because it is giving +1 gold over the lake, even though they both get the civil service bonus. So that means that you want your worker to be improving that better tile. But since there's no river tiles nearby my that city, I will just improve that the lake tile. Because again, the lake tile would take priority over just a random, just any random non-lake tile. So I gave my scout the +1 sight, which is, I really like that promotion. And I'll move my Landschnecks in towards Osinka, and I will probably be able to take it next turn because it's just at so low hit points. The Ottoman player did, Buffdady I think, did a lot of the work for me on that one. Took it all the way, took the city all the way down, and then the Iroquois pushed him back. So now I will start also to push on his capital. It looks like I will be able to take his capital and finish off Serone. Now that I have the pyramids, I can build roads in 1 turn, so I was waiting to get that before I built all my roads. The roads in 1 turn is really nice. I'm raising Osinka because he doesn't really have anything of value. It's not on a river. He doesn't have any luxuries, and you know, why else should I have it? It has some sheep, it's on a hill, but otherwise it's just not that good. I think that Serone built it just because he didn't have anywhere else to build it. He wanted to be close to the other player, and so that's where he built it. So anyway, I'm moving all my units in, attacking the capital. And just to show how funny Germany is, I have so much army right now, so many military units, that my, you can see the little exclamation mark next to the horse icon. That means that I have too many military units, more military units than my empire can support. Something that you don't see too often, especially when you have 4 cities. Sometimes you can see it if you do a super early rush. I've seen it, like I just spam build like archers or something out of 1 city, then you can sometimes get it. But you know, that's not a good strategy. You probably shouldn't try spam building archers out of only 1 city. But you can get it doing like that a little bit more easily. But it's just kind of as a show just how amazing the land snacks are. You can just get that big penalty. And you know, I'm not gonna get rid of units to do that, because once I take over the Iroquois capital, I will that penalty will go away. The penalty is it gives you a minus 10% production bonus for every unit you have over the limit. So I think I am at 1. Oh wait, no, I'm at none right now because a unit went away or something. So or my city grew or something. And that increases the limit for how many units I can have. So maybe next turn I'll be able to take the Iroquois capital. Maybe. No, I don't think so. I think I'll probably take it the turn after. Anyway, I'm chopping my forests and stuff. I'll be able to get a heal instantly on that Landsknecht. And let's see, can I take the city? Can I? Cross your fingers? Oh, I didn't quite make it. Oh well. Not quite this turn. I'll take it next turn. Too bad. Get some Colosseums in to deal with the unhappiness from the taking over the whole capital thing. People get really unhappy when you win wars in Civ5. It's a little bit silly. It's just kind of a balancing mechanic, I guess, but still kind of silly. Boo, you won. I hate it how you're taking enemy cities. Boo, boo. I like to think of it more as, instead of happiness, I think of it as like stability of my empire. So like the more cities you get, the less stable your empire, the bigger population in your city is, the less stable the city becomes. And so, you know, when I have that extra city, it's making my empire more stable. Just making my empire less stable, rather. And so then I build Colosseums to make my people like more satisfied, and so they're willing to put up with my empire a little bit more, so it becomes more stable because people are a little bit happier. At least that's my theory of unhappiness. And it seems like Bloodfeign has 11 science. It's not good for him. I'm pillaging some farms outside of that were in the old city, because I might as well. There's no city nearby them. And I'm chopping some forests around Onondaga, just because I want to have a little bit of a clearer path, and just I might as well. I have the pyramids, it only takes a turn, right? I'm getting sailing. Just kidding, I'm not getting sailing. I was thinking about getting sailing so that I could improve the, what are they called? The fish, like, not fish, pearl, no. Are they pearls? They might be the pearl luxury outside of, Onondaga. Yeah, I think they're pearls. And so, but the thing is, I'd have to build it in, like, Hamburg, and then it would have to go all the way around to get to there. And so, I probably won't get to it this game, because there'd just be a long-term payback. And by then I'll have taken over a bunch of people. I don't know. Or by then I would have annexed the city, and then I'd be able to build it there anyway. And with the, what I just did there is I pillage and then I move. Pillaging only takes 1 movement point, so what you can do is you can pillage a tile and then move. And since the hill would have taken up all my movement points anyway, I'm still moving the same distance that I would have anyway. And so that's something you should do when you're fighting somebody with the Great Wall, is pillage and then move. Unless it's a horseman, because horsemen can, you know, move over the hills. When you're fighting somebody with the Great Wall, unless you were trying to move quickly, you should probably pillage and then move, because you're only going to be able to move 1 tile anyway, so you might as well get some extra gold out of it. Anyway, I'm flooding my Landsknechts over the river and onto him. I'm using my scout as a little bit of bait, meaning if they kill off the scout, I'll kill them off, because then they won't be fortified or something, or they'll be more vulnerable. I'll be able to get more flanking bonuses off of them, and plus they'll take 1 damage from destroying the scout, because of the minimum 1 damage rule. So now that my scout isn't really blocking anything and he might be destroyed by the city bombardment, I'll move him back so he's safe. He has, you know, a +1 sight, so he's a nice unit. And I kind of have too many Landsknechts to send at the city at once, which is kind of a little bit of a problem you run into if you have a lot of Landsknechts. But the whole 1 unit per tile only kind of slows you down. It doesn't really stop you from taking someone over. Because if I had, you know, like twice as many Landsknechts and like he had a decent force, I'd just suicide my units in, and then I'd have a line of units behind that to attack him with. But right now I'm trying to play so that I don't lose units, because I'm not building replacements right now. So I'd, you know, have to rebuild them. I wouldn't be rebuilding them. So anyway, I'm going to keep on sieging the city. Hopefully be able to take it next turn. Yeah, I agree with myself. You know, Germany is ridiculous. With the Landsknechts, there's not really a counter. You can just build so many of them, and they even have a bonus against mounted units, for goodness sake. So it's like, you know, what are you going to do against them? I mean, the only thing I can really think of that might be effective against them is having, like, crossbowmen, because they do take shots at the Landsknechts without taking damage themselves. Do like 5 damage to a Landsknecht, and then and since they have the same melee strength as the Landsknecht itself, they might be able to hold it off. But the thing is that crossbowmen come a lot later than Landsknechts, so it's like, what do you do in the meantime, right? Oh, and I kind of mess up there. I thought he had a strategic resource penalty, because I pillaged his iron, but as it turns out, I guess, he didn't. because after that one swordsman died, he had enough iron then. So I could have taken an instant heal on that Landsknecht that died, but I did not, because I thought he wasn't going to attack or something. But then he did. And I'll start sending some units up and around, just because kind of the down route is kind of blocked by other units. I'll heal all of my injured units, so I don't, there's no point in attacking with, unhealthy or injured units when you have other healthy units you can be sending at them. So I'll just heal them while I have the borders to get the +2 healing per turn as opposed to +1 healing per turn you get outside of your borders. I'm working on the Chichen Itza, which will give me a nice happiness boost, and which is a nice short-term bonus, and the plus 50% golden age length, which is a nice long-term bonus. And I finish off that sword with the help of a kind of a flanking bonus. And I finish off that sword by accident. I was trying to move on to that tile, but then he moved before my unit moved. So, but then he damaged him enough so the other Landsknecht can finish him off, so I just finished him off. It might as well, right? Because sword is a pretty valuable unit, and, if you have the opportunity to kill one, it's generally a good thing. Especially when you don't have to lose anything yourself. Yeah, Chichen Itza plus 50% Golden Age, good long-term bonus. It's like Persia's ability, except you don't get the move. Well, it's kind of like Persia's ability. It synergizes really well with Persia's ability, because it means that you end up getting, it stacks on itself, so you're getting, ridiculously longer golden ages, as opposed to just slightly longer golden ages. But it's a good wonder just in general, because 4 happiness is pretty strong. And then once I actually research education, I'll use the great engineer I have on the Notre Dame, and I will get plus 10 happiness from that. And I drop from the game right there. It's my internet. My internet is pretty bad in this game. So I will rejoin their game. I find a person who's in the game, click on the little triangle, go to join, and I join the game, load it up, and I am back in. It's pretty quick if you don't have to exit and reload a save, because that happens if you can do it quickly. I think I ended up losing a turn in that game. Yeah, I definitely did, because last turn I wasn't building Notre Dame. The AI controlled me for a turn, and it did exactly the same thing I was going to do. Once I finished education, it took the great engineer, and it got the Notre Dame. So good job, AI. You are so smart. It advanced my units, kept them fortified, didn't kill anything. Tell you, maybe I should do this more often. The AI is doing a really good job. Why am I even doing anything? Anyway, I'm being sarcastic. The AI is generally terrible at doing everything. At least in single player it is. And that's one of the reasons why I enjoy multiplayer so much, is that people are so much more intelligent than the AI. And so it just makes for more interesting games. Because your opponents are basing their, abilities. Like, the challenge in the game is not the AI having huge bonuses, it's that the players are intelligent, and so they're playing the game intelligently. And more optimally than the AI does. Anyway, he kills off one of my Landsknechts, but that's alright, because it kind of opens up some terrain and allows me to push forward. I'll probably be able to kill off both of his swords now, because they aren't fortified, which is very nice for me. So it probably wasn't a good idea for him to have attacked that Landsknecht there. I bet he would have wanted to build a citadel in front of his capital, but I would have been able to pillage it if it were too close. If it were within one tile of my Landsknecht, I would have just moved up one tile and pillaged it. And that's what you can do if you citadels, is just pillage. So anyway, with that confrontation, he attacked me with 2 swords, and I lost 2 Landsknechts, one before and one afterwards, and he lost 2 swordsmen. So while that might seem like a nearly even trade, the Landsknecht cost so much less hammers that I actually won a lot from that. So that was a pretty good deal for me. I have kind of too many workers right now, so I'm kind of fiddling around with them. I have a lot of tiles, with a lot of workers and not too many tiles to improve. So I can't just have a worker kind of sitting around a city improving. Anyway, I kill the city off. He takes another one of my Landsknechts. But that's alright, you know. I took his capital. I am solidly in first place. I got the Notre Dame, so I have tons of happiness to grow all my cities. I have education still, so I didn't sacrifice my rush really for technology too much, because I'm still going up that path. I'm building universities in all of my cities, or at least some of my cities. Or at least I should be. Yeah, I'm building a garden that's left over from the AI choosing, which is, yeah, I probably shouldn't be building that at all. Building the AI choosing to build a library is alright, and the Colosseum up and to the right isn't a great idea because I already have 9 happiness, so I don't really need more happiness. I mean, if you have a ton of extra happiness, you can get a free the Golden Age out of it, but that's so long term that I generally don't go for that. Unless maybe if I'm Persia, I think about it a little bit more, because it's giving you a big benefit. So, anyway, another nice thing about the Germans is that their rush doesn't really delay education at all. If you're going like a samurai rush, or maybe a longbowman rush or something, it forces you to take a different tech path away from education. But with the Landsknechts, you're going up to civil service, which is on the way to education, which allows you to have, you know, to also have really good tech when you're rushing, so it's kind of a double whammy right there. And anyway, my great general arrives, but it's way too late to do anything. You know, my rush is pretty much over. I've taken 2 capitals. I am probably going to be able to take that last capital, that last city, but taking the French player would be tough unless he built no army at all. You know, because I lost some Landsknechts, and I'm not really building replacements, and it would take a long time for more to get there. So anyway, I feel perfectly content to sit back, and so I do. And I actually ask Buffdady to surrender if he'd like to stop the game, and he says he agrees, because, you know, he's a bunch less points and stuff. So anyway, that's the end. Thanks for watching. Germany is really strong.